Good evening. My name is Gertrude Whitaker with the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the 2019 Candidates Forum. Along with the Fayette County Chamber, this event is co-sponsored by Connorsville Local TV3, Connorsville News Examiner, and K-Mix Radio, a member station of Whitewater Broadcasting Corporation. We'd like to extend a thank you to both Tim Rose, Chair of the Democrat Party of Fayette County, and also to Vivian Heimlich, Chair of the Fayette County Republican Party, for their assistance in notifying the candidates and encouraging participation in tonight's event. Before the forum officially begins, the Chamber is pleased to announce its fall legislative series, which will take place on Wednesday, November 6th. We are hosting a special Social Security 101 workshop, which will be free to attend and open to the public. If you've been thinking about retirement or are ready to retire, then you will want to attend and hear answers to your questions about determining early versus late retirement options, your work and benefits, Medicare A and B enrollment, COLAs, and much more. We have a representative from the Chicago District 6 of the Social Security Administration who will be providing this free seminar beginning at 5 p.m. that evening. And this event is made possible through the sponsors of Livestream Services, Smith Harvey Law Office, and the Union Savings and Loan Trust Department. Before we begin our forum, would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The sponsors of tonight's event are all nonpartisan organizations. We do not support candidates nor political parties, but nonpartisan does not mean non-participation. We can, however, take positions on issues. And through events such as tonight's candidate forum, we're going to encourage our local citizens to be informed before voting on November 5th. It is my privilege to introduce tonight's moderator, Daryl Smith with the Connorsville News Examiner. Daryl?
Thank you, Gertrude. Well, this is the first time these candidates have had a chance to face the voters in a forum atmosphere this election cycle, because as most of you know, last spring there were no contested races, so for the first time in anybody's memory, we did not have a primary. So we're happy to be here tonight and have all the candidates but one, and that candidate could not be here but did send in a statement that I will read at the proper time. Those running in the election are for mayor, Democrat Harold Gordon, Republican Chad Frank. For city council at large, where two will be elected, Republicans Mike Bishop, Diana Phillips, and Democrats Christopher LaFew and John Gibson. In District 1, Democrat Connie Durham and Republican Clarence Warner. District 2, Republican Jennifer Barrett and Democrat Jerry Pennington. District 3, Democrat Debbie Montgomery and Republican Brian Robb. District 4, Republican Bill Gray and Democrat Jack Willis. There's only one candidate on the ballot for clerk treasurer, where incumbent Republican Rosemary Brown does not have a challenger, and in Council District 5, Republican Dave Nutty does not have an opponent. They will not be asked questions tonight, but both are here. So if the audience wants to ask them questions afterward, have at it. Each candidate will be given 90 seconds for an opening statement, and then I will ask them questions. Each will have 3 minutes to respond. After both candidates in most of the races and 4 candidates in the at-large, then they will have a chance to give a 30-second rebuttal to something the other candidates have said. And then they will have a 90-second closing statement. Gertrude will be timing the event. She has a card she will hold up with 30 seconds remaining, and then one when your time is up. And we would ask the candidates to abide by the time limits. So we'll get ready tonight. So District 1 Council, Clarence, if you would come up and we'll get this started. Clarence is the only one that could come tonight. I do have a statement from Connie Durham. Have your choice.
My name's Clarence Warner. I'm running for District 1 Council, City Council. Been in law enforcement for, pardon? I've been in law enforcement for 45 years and retired from the city of Connersville as a captain, moving up through the ranks. I wish to be elected as a District 1 Council to help get the city moving again.
Okay, thank you. Well, as a challenger, how will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on? And in addition, what will you do, if elected, to help prepare the budget and keep the budget under control?
Those are good questions. The beginning would be nice to get the city organized and attempt to get new business in here to keep our children in this community. And working behind the scenes to see what's needed through our city employees to help them better utilize their time.
Okay. What department or departments do you think will need the most attention as you look to make funding decisions and make capital purchases in the next 4 years?
Our emergency service is always priority. We have to save lives, there's no doubt about that. Our streets are beginning to be sad shape, so we need to look at the street department and see what we can do to fund that and better get our infrastructure back in line.
Okay. The county recently adopted a correctional facility income tax to pay for jail operations. Do you, as a potential council member, have any desire to look at tax increases of any type to help fund raises, capital purchase, or programs?
I would rather see other programs come into effect instead of raise taxes. I feel that the citizens of Connersville have been burdened enough with taxes and fees. There has to be another way.
Okay. I will read Connie's statement and then give you a chance to give your closing remarks, unless you'd like to rebut yourself. Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay. This is a statement Connie did send in. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend due to prior commitments out of town. I am currently representing District 1 on City Council. I take the business of the council very seriously and make conscious decisions in regards to taxpayers' money. I always welcome residents' concerns, ideas, and problems and will work diligently to find a solution. I am looking forward to what's next for Connersville. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would greatly appreciate your vote on November 5th. So now, Clarence, your closing statement.
Well, in closing, I would seriously like to find out why the city is lacking in getting job opportunities here for the young people, as well as the citizens of Connersville and other citizens of other areas. And I'm sure that with a little bit more work, we can get business in here to do the job and help our income bracket.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
With Council District two candidates, Jennifer Barrett and Jerry Pennington, will head up to the microphones. City residents who are not registered or who have changed addresses have until 4 p.m. Monday, October 7th to register or transfer at the Fayette County's Clerk's Voter Registration Office on the second floor of the Fayette County Courthouse, 401 Central Avenue. Online registration through the Indiana Secretary of State's website continues until midnight, October 7th. Well, welcome. And Jerry, would you like to give your opening statement?
Yes, and thank you for allowing us to come out today. And Tim and Vivian, I want to thank you. You know, it's been reported that Fayette County is the poorest county in the state. I don't know how they came up with these numbers. I have no idea. But if it's true, then we got to correct that problem. Seeing how we sit in the middle of it. There's ways we can do that without raising anybody's taxes. That's one thing we do not want to do. I think the first thing we should do is worry about the first responders. They're the one that saves lives, because the first 8 minutes of any crisis is the most important time. So we have to make sure the first responders have everything they need. Next thing is we have to get jobs in here, higher paying jobs. The minimum wage for Connersville, $7.35. Living wage, $7.85. So if you go to McDonald's and flip hamburgers, you're already under the poverty line to begin with. So that's one thing we have to do. So a family of 3 has to make $30,000 or they can't survive. So that means people are working 2 jobs and some of them 3. So one thing I would like to do is get more higher paying jobs in here and fill up some of these vacant buildings we have around here. Thank you.
Jennifer?
Hi, I am Jenny Barrett. I have 2 daughters, Reagan, that's going to be 18 in 3 days. So yes, I'm a little sad still about that. And she's a senior at CHS. Here with me tonight is my daughter Taylor, who's 13, and she's in 8th grade at CMS. I also have 2 adult stepsons that live in Kentucky with their wives. I teach 5th grade at Grandview Elementary School, where I coach cross country and serve on the wellness committee. This is my 18th year of my teaching career. I am from Connersville and attended Huntington College for my bachelor's degree. I moved to Georgetown, Kentucky in 1999 and attended Georgetown College for my master's degree. I worked in Lexington, Kentucky for 10 years. I lived there for a total of 13 years. And I moved back to my hometown in 2012. I've been involved in community events since I returned home. I currently serve as the president of the Connersville Parks and Recreation Board, where I was also vice president before that, and I will complete my 4-year term at the end of this year. I am also secretary of the CHS Band Boosters, which dedicates most of my life. Previously, I served as president of Fayette County Community Voices. During my time with Voices, I helped conduct several community visioning sessions that led to developing a vision statement for our community. I'm excited to serve Connersville as your District 2 City Council representative. Thank you in advance to the voters in District 2 for their vote from October 8th through November 5th.
Thank you. Jennifer? How will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on, and what will you do, if elected, to help prepare the budget?
Yeah, I think one of the main responsibilities of City Council is to seek and maintain a responsible and balanced budget for our city. I already have some ideas on how to do that without raising taxes, obviously, but I think that my time with Fayette County Community Voices has really helped me with that, because when we conducted our visioning sessions, I really learned what the citizens of Connersville want here in town, what our assets already are. And so as far as behind the scenes, I feel like I am good at assessing needs and setting goals. As far as the boards, I'm not 100% familiar on what all is offered. I have worked some with between the park board and the union, so that is something that I am interested in continuing. I'm sorry, what was the last part of that real quick?
I think you've mentioned it. The budget was the very last thing I mentioned.
Okay.
Jerry? How will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on, and what will you do if elected to help prepare the budget?
Well, one thing I'd like to do is to get more money into the city of Connersville. You know, with me living in Los Angeles and Hollywood, I did over 100 fundraisers for local schools, and I did a lot of work with the studios, Paramount, and, Universal, several of them. Over the last 4 years, the studios have paid the state of Georgia $92 billion in filming rights. So with my context I have there, I would like to get some cities in here to do some filming in our area. We have beautiful areas around here. As you know, they filmed Rain Man down here in Matamore, parts of that. So there's no reason why they won't come here. And one of the reasons they go on location is because the taxes they have in California. So they're all over the place doing things. And they don't bring 20 people, they bring 100. And sometimes they stay a week to 10 days or longer. So that would bring a lot of money in here. Even if we get them to bring in $4 or $5 million, the city and the county can split that money and do with what they want. That's one thing I really want to work hard on to get in here. And as far as the budget goes, that I don't know about because I don't know the ins and outs of the current and how they're doing now. But I do know one thing, we cannot spend what we don't have. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. Thank you.
Okay, anybody care to give a rebuttal? Okay, we'll move on. What department or departments do you think will need the most attention as you look at funding and making capital purchases in the next 4 years? Jerry?
Well, the first one would be our first responders. You've got to have and maintain the fire and EMT and the police. You have to do that. It's mandatory. Because like I said, the first 8 minutes of any crisis, where it's a home invasion, burglary, robbery, those are the first most important times. So you got to have rapid response in case there's as we all know, we all read the papers, there's lots of school shootings. And they're getting close when we have an enrichment, and we know about the one in Dayton. So we want to make them really aware and well-trained to handle a crisis like that.
Okay, Jennifer?
Yeah, I agree with Jerry and Clarence both when they say, when looking at our first responders, I think that, we have our police department and our fire department, our EMT, we have to have strong candidates there. We have to take care of the people that we have already so that they don't leave our community and seek another job where they can make more money. I have several friends that are on the police department that I've already spoken with, and so I have an idea of some of the things that I would like to begin doing with them to make sure that they're well taken care of.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody care to give a rebuttal?
That's good. Sounded good.
Okay. The county recently adopted a correctional facility income tax to pay for jail operations, which will allow giving raises. Do you, as a potential council member, have any desire to look at tax increases or any type of help to fund capital purchases or programs? Jennifer?
No, I am not a fan of raising taxes because I pay those taxes. So no, I don't want to pay more. However, when you have needs, you have to find the money, and I don't think that that's just, it's not magically found. I think that that's where I'm strong because I have been a single mom for so many years, I know how to balance a budget. I know how to stay within budget, and I know where to make cuts. And like I said, I already have some ideas on where we could make cuts without looking at, hurting anybody's salaries. Obviously, we wouldn't want to do that, but there are other ways that you can make cuts in your budget that can allow for the purchases that you need.
Jerry?
As far as the jail tax,
No. The county did that, or
Yeah,
they
right.
did the correctional facility
Well-
income tax. Do you, as a potential council member, have any desire to look at tax increases or any type of taxes to help fund raises, capital purchases, or programs?
no, I'm not a fan of tax raising. I would not do that. And somebody's got to explain to me on a jail being overcrowded, raising jail tax to pay for the jailers and road deputies. How's that reduced the population at the jail? I don't understand that. So that's beyond my pay grade. But no, we'll not raise taxes. What I would do when I'm elected is the city has an ordinance, the franchise tax on cable television. That money is paid directly to the city of Connersville, and it's earmarked for Channel 3 News. And it runs in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. What I recommend you do, you take 20% of that money, give it to Connersville High School in their media department. So that way they can do programs such as cyberbullying, cyber texting, physical bullying, which you all know is a wrong thing to do. 90% of the school shooters are from that high school. So if we can educate our students, even drop it down to into elementary and junior high, then what's left of that money can be taken and given to junior high schools, elementary, so teachers like Jennifer doesn't have to reach in her pocket and buy supplies. That's one of the things I would really want to work hard on, to do that.
Okay. Any rebuttals?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, Jerry, if you would give your closing statement.
Well, I born and raised in Connersville, and left here in 1970, went to LA and Hollywood, and got involved with stunt work and all kinds of things. Came back here and was pretty sad to see how far we had dropped down, and all the manufacturing jobs had left and went away, and nobody replaced them. Then you got carbon motors coming in here, and them get millions of dollars, and then they left town. Then we got the hospital sitting here. And I'll tell you, you don't get $16 million in debt in a week. That thing had to go on 3 or 4 years, and I don't know why anybody didn't step in and try to help them. Had it been for Reed, we wouldn't have a hospital. So we have to have elected officials that will stand up and fight for you people. It's your tax money that's going out the drain here. We got to stop that. Thank you.
Jennifer?
First of all, I just want to say thank you to TV3 Studios, the Chamber of Commerce, Whitewater Broadcasting, and the News Examiner for hosting this tonight. I believe that I am your voice for positive change. I can think issues through in order to make decisions in the best interest of the community. I am serious about analyzing community needs in order to find practical solutions. I believe in enhancing the quality of life in our community. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that supported me along the way.
Thank you. Jennifer? Thank you, Jennifer and Jerry. Now we'll have City Council District 3, Debbie Montgomery and Brian Robb. Just want to remind anybody needing an absentee or want to do absentee voting, that will start Tuesday, October 8th in the clerk's office. Okay. So we have Debbie Montgomery, District 3, and Brian Robb, the Republican. Debbie's the Democrat candidate. So I think this time we'll start with Brian, and if you want to give your opening statement.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me this evening. My name is Brian Robb, and I'm running for the City Council, District 3, for the City of Connersville. I was born here in Connersville, and I attended grade school at the old Maplewood School. My family's been part of the Connersville area since the early 1900s. Both my brothers, they graduated from Connersville High School. I did not. I graduated from high school in Arlington Heights, a suburb of Chicago. I attended Drake University for several years, and then I went on, came back to Connersville, worked at the Roots, and then went on to Indiana and graduated from Indiana with a BS in marketing. BS is always, I hate to say BS. I've been married to my wife for 38 years. We have 2 kids out on the West Coast. We have 2 grandchildren out there, and even a great-grandchild out there. We are both active members of the Grand Avenue Methodist Church. My hobbies are playing golf and traveling. My business background has been in industrial sales and marketing and managing industrial distribution nationwide. I was asked to run for City Council. I have no active political background. I believe in the Golden Rule and the Lord's Prayer and the conduct of life. My wife accuses me of being too practical. I call it common sense. I try to listen to both sides of an issue, then evaluate on the
Thank you, Brian.
Okay.
Finish with the closing. And now Debbie.
I'm Debbie Montgomery, and I am running for the re-election to the 3rd District City Council seat that I have held since 2012. I am raising my 15-year-old granddaughter and primary caretaker for my 90-year-old mother. I believe this gives me a special insight into what is important to all age groups in our community. I was born and raised in Connersville and graduated from CHS with the class of 1966. While working at Stance for nearly 40 years, I completed a UAW apprenticeship program and earned a journeyman card in tool and die. I am currently serving on the board of the Fayette County Senior Center. I am also on the committee working to update our ordinances. I recently served on the city's negotiation team, negotiating salaries for several departments. I served 6 years on the Economic Development Group, and I was a founding member and served 3 years on the Fayette County Community Voices Board. I want to encourage everyone to get out and vote. If you live in District 3, I will be on your ballot. I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Well, as an incumbent, how have you worked behind the scenes to help improve the town? You mentioned some of the council-appointed boards you've served on, and what input do you give in helping prepare the city budget?
I vote on the city budget. I don't give a lot of input. It is explained to us, but I've never been on the budget committee. As far as what I do, Fayette County Community Voices is a great organization. I'm active there. I am active on the Senior Center Board, and those are my main contributions. I stay pretty busy taking care of my 90-year-old mother. Thank you.
Okay. Brian?
Could you repeat the question?
Oh, okay. As a challenger, how will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on, and what will you do if elected to help prepare the budget?
Well, as far as preparing the budget, first of all, you have to see it and see where it is as far as it is, and then you have to take a look at it and try to keep everything in there as much as you possibly can without trying to cut any corners. But yet at the same time, if you can cut some corners to bring in some new ideas or some new programs, that's what you have to do sometimes. As far as behind the scenes, I like the historical part of Connersville. I like that I think is an answer to Connersville's future, the history of Connersville. And that's one of the big things that I am in favor of pursuing. As far as the boards, I don't really know all the boards as such right at the moment, but I would like, once I get into knowing more about them and stuff, there's several of them that I'd probably be interested in.
Okay, anybody care to give a rebuttal? Okay. Brian, what department or departments do you think will need the most attention as you look to do the funding in the future, make capital purchases in the next 4 years?
Well, I think that, you stated as far as, your police force, fire department, the EMT, that's kind of a given as far as that part of it goes. After that, I think you get into the things that we're all looking at to improve Connersville in itself, and I'm talking about probably the maintenance departments. We've just passed an ordinance that I'm in very much favor of, and I would be pushing anything that would support that as far as maintaining that.
Debbie?
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that during the last 4 years, we've replaced a lot of equipment for the city. We've replaced trash truck, 450 pickup for the street department. The transfer stations had a payloader. The police got 6 new vehicles, and EMS 4 new ambulances, and the non-reverting fund was formed. Am I out of time?
No, you got plenty of time.
What was the rest of the question?
Well, it was just, what department or departments do you think will need the most attention as you look to fund and make capital purchases in the
Okay,
next
like
4 years?
everyone else, I believe the police, the fire, and the EMS have to be priority.
Okay. Let's see. Have I asked you, Brian?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I forgot to mention at the beginning, sometimes I forget where I'm at. You just have to keep me on track. I used to do this at the Channel 3 studios, and every time I'd forget something. So then we'll move on, Debbie. The county recently adopted a correctional facility income tax to pay for jail operations. Do you, as a potential another 4 years on the council, have any desire to look at tax increases of any type to help fund raises, capital purchases, or programs?
No, we are doing a great job of staying within budget. I don't want any new taxes, no.
Brian?
The proper thing would say, no, you don't want any new taxes, and I don't want any new taxes, as far as that part goes. But I think you have to take a hard line sometimes when you're looking at things, when you can't get everything out of the budget that you need, you've gone to all the grants and everything else that you've tried to do to raise money for things, and sometimes a tax, people don't want to hear that, but sometimes a tax might be necessary. I would hope not, but...
Okay. Anybody care to do a rebuttal? Okay. Brian, closing?
I went over a little bit in my beginning there, and I don't want to go over in the end here as far as that part of it goes, but I am new at this, and but we've made this our home. I get tired of hearing all the negative things and being at the bottom of the list and trying to tell my wife why we should stay here in Connersville. I'd like to try to make a difference by being on the council, do the right things, and as my father said to us when we used to run for different offices and stuff, the man for the job is a man named Rob.
Can't beat that. Debbie?
Well, first, I failed to answer one of your questions. If on a board I'd like to serve on, I'd like to go back to the EDG. I really enjoyed serving on that board. I want to remind you all again to vote. I believe that is not just a right, but also a responsibility. The important dates, the last day to register is October 7th. Early voting begins October 8th. Last day for absentee ballots is October 24th, and Election Day is November 5th. I hope you all will get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. She mentioned early voting. District 4 candidates, if you would come up, Republican Bill Gray and Democrat Jack Willis. Early voting will be daily at the courthouse from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. beginning October 8th and continuing until noon on the day before the election, Monday, November 4th. So welcome, gentlemen. Jack, if you would give your opening statement.
Okay. I am not originally from Connorsville. Our family moved here from Philadelphia when they built the new Philco plant here, so this is my home since 1965. I am a veteran of the United States Navy. I worked 28 years for Connorsville Utilities. I substitute teach now, and I've officiated basketball, football, and baseball, and coached in many of those sports too. I'm a member of St. Gabriel's Church, an active member. I'm a man of faith. And I try to get along with everybody. And you see I'm not wearing a tie because I couldn't find it.
Is that why you didn't wear a tie? Bill?
My name is Bill Gray. I'm a lifelong resident of Fayette County. I have been employed and still employed at Fayette County Jail. Well, I'm a county supervisor. I work at the jail, courthouse, and actually I have 5 buildings I take care of. I do all the grounds maintenance, all building maintenance. Married to my wife for 30 years. We have 4 boys and a bunch of grandkids. I think we got 7 grandkids. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Bill, how will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on, and what will you do if elected to help prepare the budget?
Well, first of all, I'd like to take a look at contract services and the budgets and to see where the money's going. That's the first thing I did when I went to work for the county. I saw that a lot of funds were misplaced, misused as contract services. There was a lot of wasted money, and I stopped it right away. Well, not right away. It took me 6 months, but I finally stopped it. A huge amount of money was being contract services out that didn't need it, that could be done in-house with the employees that we have instead of having it contracted out. That's the first thing I would look at.
Okay, Jack?
Go ahead and repeat the question,
Okay.
please.
How will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed board would you like to serve on?
I love this city. I will be part of anything that anybody wants me to be because we have a lot of good people in this city, and I want to do what's best for them.
Okay.
So I would do anything to help Connorsville.
Okay, and then the last part of the question was, what will you do if elected to help prepare the budget?
Well, I would have to look into some information and get the correct data to find out why I should or why I shouldn't.
Okay, anybody care to give a rebuttal? Okay. Jack?
Yes.
What department or departments do you think will need the most attention as you look to make funding decisions and make capital purchases in the next 4 years?
Well, we, like everybody else, has the same answer. We must take care of our first responders, our police department, our fire department, our city street department, and our Connorsville utilities. Those people make our city work, so those would be a top priority for me.
Bill?
I totally agree. First responders, police department, just like every other candidate, you've got to have those in place. And secondly, I'd look at our street departments. Our streets are getting in real bad shape, so that's something we need to look at.
Okay. Any other comments, rebuttal?
No
Okay.
rebuttal.
And finally, the county recently adopted a correctional facility income tax to pay for jail operations, which will allow giving raises to employees. Do you, as a potential council member, have any desire to look at tax increases or any type to help fund raises, capital purchases, or to fund programs? Bill?
I'm against raising taxes for any reason. There's got to be other ways out there. We need to look at all the avenues and see where we can get the money, but I'm against raising taxes.
Jack?
Well, I'm against raising taxes also. However, if you can prove to me for our city to work better that we have to, and it's for the betterment of our city, then I might hedge on that, right, on that opinion right there.
Any rebuttal? Okay. Jack, would you give your closing statement?
Okay. We have a bunch of fine people that live in this city. I love living in this city, but people put us down all the time. They say we're always number one in unemployment and the 8th worst city in Indiana to live in. I'm tired of that. And about jobs, you know, people, well, we can't have this or we can't have this. And I'll quote a few words from an old song. We have to accentuate the positive thinking and eliminate the negative thinking.
Bill?
I love Fayette County. I've been here all my life. I don't plan on going anywhere else. I know we can make it better. It has been better in the past. We can make it better. I know we can.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
One more thing, I am not an opponent of Mr. Gray. We both want to make the city better.
Again, we will not be asking David Nutty at Council District 5 questions because he is unopposed. So if the at-large candidates would come, that would be Democrat John Gibson, Democrat Christopher LaFew, Republican Diana Phillips, and Republican Mike Bishop.
Any specific order?
Okay, this is where I might get mixed up, so if I mess up, why, tell me what I've done wrong. So let's just start over here. Diana, would you give your opening statement?
Okay. I am Diana Phillips, lifelong resident of Connorsville, and the candidate for City Council at large. Can you hear me now? Is it on? I'll speak louder. I've never been accused of being soft-spoken. At the end of this year, I will complete my 12th non-consecutive year as a City Council representative for District 4. I currently serve as chairman of the Connorsville Urban Enterprise Association, and I'm proud of that board's part in the form of a grant in securing the lot currently occupied by the Oasis, as well as another lot in downtown area. I'm very excited to have been recently appointed to the Tourism Board. I have served as chairman of the Fayette County Friends of the Library book sales for many years. I'm a member of the current negotiating team for city worker contracts, as well as I'm a member of the City Finance Committee. I am one of 3 members of a committee formed to strengthen and enforce our city ordinances. First impressions are hard to change, and it's time we clean up our city once and for all. I love this city, and I look forward to the privilege of serving it for another 4 years. Thank you.
Okay, Christopher?
Good evening. My name is Christopher LaFew, and I'm a 32-year-old lifelong resident of Fayette County in Connorsville. I'm a 2006 CHS graduate. I've been a member of the UFCW Local 700, as well as an employee at the local Kroger for 14 years. I've had the honor of serving as union steward for the past 2 years, firm supporter of unions. I look forward to learning what I can. I'm new to this whole situation, and I just look forward to getting in there and seeing what we can do to make things better.
Mike.
Good evening. My name is Mike Bishop, and I am seeking re-election for City Council at Large, which I currently am on now. Prior to that, I served 8 years on the Board of Works. If I'm blessed to be re-elected, I intend to work on or improve the following. I believe we need to take better control of our spending and reduce our overtime. We definitely need to clean up our city, which we implemented a program Monday night, and we are going to enforce that, and we need to definitely clean up our city if we want new business. We have a serious drug problem in Connersville, and we need help with that. We need outside help. If you see something, say something. Our police department is working with the limited resources that they have, and I just want to go outside and see if I can find some outside help. We definitely need better communications, both internally and externally. I get calls, many calls, people asking me why this and why that, and sometimes I can answer it and sometimes I can't. I am definitely pro-life. I would like to see the program that's been implemented for our new Little League Park to get more aggressive, but here again, it takes revenue and funding. If I'm re-elected, I surely intend to spend more time in the mayor's office because I want to keep an open camaraderie between the two of us. You'll notice I haven't mentioned, sorry.
Thank you, Mike. And John.
Good evening. My name's John Gibson. I'm a lifetime resident of Fayette County, and I've lived in the city for 12 years. I'm also a proud member of USCW 700. I chose to stay in this city, unlike most of my classmates that decided to go on to other cities and other situations. And the reason is because I love this city. I'm also raising my daughter here, 8-year-old, and attends Grandview, and I want to see that she has a safe place, she can succeed in this city. And I'm young, and I want to bring new ideas and move the city from old ways of thinking into a new way of thinking. Thank you.
Okay. Christopher, as a challenger, how will you work behind the scenes to help improve the town? And what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on? And what will you do, if elected, to help prepare the budget?
As far as the boards would be concerned, I mean, whatever the mayor thought appropriate for, my skill set, it'd be a pleasure to serve. The one thing I don't really have any, behind the scenes interests in Connersville. I mean, my son attends school here, I live here. I'm all about making the city a better place that benefits everybody, not just, one person or the other. As far as the budget's concerned, I'd have to, get in there. I mentioned earlier I'm new to all this. I'd be able to examine it and see, hopefully there'd be solutions, but sometimes you just have to work on getting money to pay for what bills you have, and that's all about jobs.
So Mike, as an incumbent, how have you worked behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards did you serve on, and what input do you give for the budget preparation?
Well, I think a lot of that's already been said by some of the candidates that's on the council. We've done a lot of things to improve our city, new vehicles, new equipment, and what have you, but we just need to continue to work together and push forward. Connersville is a good city to live in. It has a lot of amenities to offer. We just got to get them out there to the right people to entertain new jobs coming into our city.
John? As a challenger, how would you work behind the scenes to help improve the town, and what council-appointed boards would you like to serve on, and what will you do, if elected, to help prepare the budget?
Well, as far as the budget, basically maintain a balanced budget and also to live within our means. I'd also would like to focus on creating and gaining jobs, and instead of wishing and hoping for a major industry to come in, to focus on those small and medium businesses and anybody who wanted to create one to help them grow that. I'm also somebody that is big on the environment and protecting the resources that we have within the city. And I'd also like to see a creation of more green space, both to be used and not like they have in downtown.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Diana?
I think I've already elaborated on what boards I serve on now, and I would like to continue on all of those, especially the tourism board. Two of my passions are marketing Connersville. I don't think we blow our horn enough. We have so much history and so much to offer, and I see efforts to improve that, but I think we need to do more. The other boards, the majority of council's work is behind the scenes, and I'm not going to take credit for that remark because that's actually from Dave Nutty, but I liked it, so I'm using it. And it really is behind the scenes. The 2 meetings a month that you see are not, it's not the tip of the iceberg, it's just the tip of the iceberg. We do a lot more than that. As far as the finance, the budget's concerned, I'm a new member of the finance committee, and I have to be thankful for a very capable clerk treasurer that helps us with that also. And we are in pretty good shape right now, and I think just what we need to do, we will do.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody care to give a rebuttal?
No, sir.
Okay, then Mike, you will get the next question. What department or departments do you think will need the most attention as you look to make funding decisions in the future and make capital purchases?
That's a very easy question for me to answer, all of them, because we have to pick and choose who needs what equipment the most. And like it's been said before, we have bought and purchased new equipment, but I think we need to do more planning as far as buying new vehicles, buying new equipment, and whatever it takes to keep the city running.
John?
Pretty much like what everybody else has said. The first responders, of course, because they're the ones that protect us, make sure we're safe, and put their lives on the line. So they are on the line. They need to make sure they have the equipment and the wages to do that. And then, of course, focus on the street department, make sure our streets, because as others have said, first impressions are everything. If we want to attract that, if we want people to live here, work here, and bring businesses here, we've got to look that part.
Diana?
I think we're in pretty good shape now on a lot of our first responder. I agree that they should be priority, but we are on a two-a-year revolving plan for police cars right now. We've replaced 2 fire trucks, and we've tried to address those issues. I think right now the street department is the one we should focus on, because while we have a new trash truck and another pickup, their other equipment is in dire need of replacement. So that would be top on my list at this point, not to put the others in second place by any means, but at the present, I think the street department is where we need to concentrate right now.
Christopher?
Of course, priority is always with our first responders, but I kind of have to mirror what she was saying on the street department side of things. You know, we've had a lot of news coverage lately locally about the new enforcement of an old ordinance, getting people to clean up their properties. You know, just getting out and speaking with the people of Connersville. One of the, they brought up several concerns on that front. Something that I'd like to see brought back is big trash day. I mean, the transfer station's great. For odds are, if the people have couches and mattresses outside, they probably can't afford to give $9 to the transfer station. So I'd like to, see what can be done about bringing that back. But you just have to address things as they come. We have issues with, our EMTs in town where their, vehicles are being stored as new, and I'm interested to look into that and what kind of opportunities we have there, and just progressing that project, and just take the good things and keep them going and see what we can do.
Okay, anybody care to give a rebuttal?
I would like to say that on the issue of the street department, and the mention of the new enforcement of ordinances. We can't do that. We can't help maintain our property. I mean, it's as much a city effort as it is a personal resident effort, and we can't do that unless they have the equipment, you know, with which to do it.
Anybody else? Okay, and then I think it's John's turn. The county recently adopted a correctional facility income tax to pay for jail operations. Do you, as a potential council member, have any desire to look at tax increases of any type to help fund raises, capital purchases, or fund programs?
Well, the quick answer would be no new taxes. We are the highest taxed county in the state. So and then the only way is if it's a dire emergency situation where we absolutely needed it. As my stance now, no taxes. We would deal with whatever we needed within the monies that we have. We can also look at grants and other ways to fund programs. They're out there. We just have to work hard to find them.
Diana? The county recently adopted a correctional facility income tax, pay for jail operations. Do you, as a potential council member for another 4 years, have any desire to look at tax increases of any type to help fund raises, capital purchases, or fund other programs?
Segueing back to the other question, is called living within the budget. And barring any unforeseen dire circumstances, no. You can never say never, but only as an extreme last resort would I be in favor of that.
Christopher?
No one running for office is going to say they're for new taxes, but I'm definitely not for any new taxes. I live in Connersville. I pay the taxes here. I don't want any more. But in that being said, the taxes are there. We have the new corrections tax. If the people aren't making the money, we can't tax them that money. Get people jobs. Low-paying, high-paying, high numbers, low numbers jobs. We've got the empty buildings, we've got the empty space. We even have a little bit of transportation infrastructure that we just need to take advantage of it.
Mike?
I want to be careful how I answer this, but I think it goes without saying, no one wants to see their taxes raised. But being through what we've been through downtown, there's certain situations that arises where we just don't have the revenue nor the resources to do what we want to do. As an example is the utilities department, and we have to raise the water rates because sometimes it's mandated to us from the state, it goes by the population. But no, I do not want to see taxes raised in Fayette County. I'm against it, but again, sometimes we don't have the choice.
Anybody care to give a rebuttal? Okay, then have John. Diana, would you give your closing?
Okay. Although I am a lifelong resident of Connersville, I have lived in other states and cities for short periods of time. And our problems are not unique. We aren't the only city with unkept properties and abandoned buildings and factories, but we just need to address those in the best way that we can. I ask for your vote on November 5th. Please get out and vote, and I will continue to give my best effort to make Connersville a better place to live, work, play, and raise your families.
Christopher?
I'd just like to thank everyone that made all this possible, giving us the opportunity to get our names out, get our opinions out. I'm all for everyone getting out and voting, making sure you're an informed voter and participate. The old saying, if you don't vote, you can't complain.
Mike?
I have lived and paid taxes in Fayette County since 1969, since returning from the military overseas with an honorable discharge. My wife of 36 years is Vonda Bishop. I am a retired production manager from Vistion. I'm very proud of our city. I think our city has a lot of amenities to offer, and we just have to find our way through it, by working together, pass the olive branch from one side to the other. I thank you all for coming. God bless you, and God bless America.
And John.
If elected, I just want to say that I would work hard for the city. There's one question I didn't answer, and that was what board I would choose to work on, and that is any that my qualifications would go for, and I would work hard to accomplish what needs to be done. The city is great. My family came from Kentucky up here years ago because there was new opportunities that they couldn't get there. I want to see those opportunities to come back. Thank you.
And thank you, at-large candidates. Now we'll move to the mayor candidates, Harold Gordon and Chad Frank.
See, Mike stood at this one. I'm hoping this one's a little taller. You want to hear and I'll step over here. Switch sides.
Okay. Well, let's start with you, Harold, to give your opening.
Okay. Thank you for inviting us. Good evening. I would like to thank the Fayette County Chamber of Commerce, the News Examiners, Local TV3, and Whitewater Broadcasting Corporation for hosting this event, and to you who came out tonight. I appreciate this opportunity. My name is Harold Gordon, and I am currently running for re-election as mayor of our fine city. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm one of 5 children of Robert and Charlotte. I was born on April 27, 1948. I graduated from Connersville High School in 1966 and married my sweetheart, Pat. We have 3 children, Jason, Josh, Ashley, and 8 grandchildren, Austin, Aubrey, Avery, Jackson, Layla, Bobby, Trey, and Dakota. My father served in the Indiana House of Representatives for District 56 for 12 years. My love of the politics came from my father, who taught me along the way, reinforcing the love of family, community, and country. I served in the military, for more specifically the Air Force. Go. Right, Mike? Okay, I obtained the rank of sergeant in my 4 years of service to this great country. After coming out of the U.S. Air Force, I then attended Ball State. My career began at several local manufacturing plants where I learned the value of work. I also worked for the United States Department of Agriculture and Soil and Water Conservation Department. My love of sports came into playing, coaching minor league baseball, little league, Babe Ruth.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh.
like a politician, get a little long-winded. Chad?
I was on a roll.
Well, good evening, and thank you for coming out this evening. My name is Chad Frank, born and raised here in Connersville. My mother back here is Joyce Frank, and my dad was John Frank. If I could say anything again about everybody in this room knew my dad, and if the only thing I could wish I could still talk to him again, because he was a great man, great impact in my life, taught me a lot, beat me over the head a lot, which was good, and hopefully I can use some of the skills he taught me for this valuable position. My wife is my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 22 years. Her name's Amy Frank. Daryl, this is for you. She's an IU grad. Go IU. Told you I was going to get in. She went to the IU School of Medicine. She is a physical therapist here at Heritage House. I graduated from Indiana Wesleyan with a bachelor's degree in business management. We have 4 children. My oldest daughter is at IU East. Again, Daryl. And my second is a junior in high school, and I have a freshman who's actually at a football game this evening, so a little nerve-wracking him being on the football field and I'm not there with him. And then I have a 7th grader. People ask me all the time, what do you do? Well, that's a tough question to answer because I am an entrepreneur. I have several things. I love business. I love taking an idea. I love turning it into something valuable. And that's one of the character traits I want to bring to Connersville, is taking the ideas that we have and building and growing Connersville with those ideas.
Okay, thank you. Well, Chad, you will go first with the questions. Well, both of you have been involved in preparing the budget. Harold is mayor, and Chad, you have served on the Finance Committee previously. The budget has gone up. Could you give your philosophy on the budget preparation and the mayor's involvement in that? And how do you either increase revenue to match the budget increases or make cuts to make the budget meet the revenues?
Yes. I served on the Finance Committee my first 3 years. I'll be honest, the first 3 years, it takes a lot to learn that budget. It's not easy, as the mayor can attest to. We have a lot of different, it's not like we get a pot of money and they say go spend it. It would be nice if they did that. We get funds, and each fund is to be spent in a certain area. Then you have to be creative in that area in order to spend that money. And it's very challenging. It took me a long time, Rosemary beating me over the head, thinking I'm never going to get this, saying, well, what's this fund? What's this fund? She's got everything memorized. One of the first things I would do is, I'd go back to I would present it different. There's an IC code of how we as a city is supposed to present our budget. The mayor is to sit down and present the budget to the Finance Committee, and then the Finance Committee is to sit down and present it to the City Council. And the mayor is supposed to be in charge of going through the budget line by line by line by line, and then sitting down with the City Council. That's how I'm going to approach it. And it's me sitting down with the department heads, going through the budget. What can we do here? What can we do there? The fire chief is the expert behind the budget, not me and his department. But I can ask a lot of questions, which I will do. But that's how I want to handle with the budget. As far as increases and cuts, how much time do I have? There's only one way to increase the budget. We got to grow. I'm not a proponent of tax raises. In fact, when the county raised the wage tax, I was the only one down there from council fighting it. I'm not an opponent of it. We have to grow as a city. And again, I'll point back to my entrepreneurial spirit. That's what I believe we need to do. And that's how I want to approach it. I hate making cuts. I hate it with a passion because you know it's going to impact somebody somewhere. And I do not like that. So that will be my approach for it. For is increasing the budget, we got to grow.
Okay, Harold?
Repeat the questions,
Okay.
please.
You've been involved in preparing the budget as mayor, and how the budget has gone up, but could
Yes.
you give your philosophy on budget preparation, your involvement if you were reelected, and how do you either increase revenue to match the budget increases or make cuts to make the budget meet revenues?
Okay, the first thing is, when I took office, I thought I knew everything. I spent 20 years on city council. You know what, when I went in that office, I didn't know squat. And I had people coming and talking to me, but I'll tell you what, I have a very good clerk treasurer. And I made a deal with her, I'll take care of running the city. She knows where the money's at. I have even instructed my department heads, before you come to me, you go see Rosemary. She has a sign in her office, no. So I send them there first. If she's given the okay and I know I got the money, now we can sit down and discuss it. But as far as, I rely on Rosemary a lot to take care of the budget. I go in when she needs me. And a lot of times, she don't need me. And so that's how I would handle that. As far as budgets, taking care of the budgets, most of your budget increases are insurances. And every year you have a longevity increases, that type of stuff. Like I said, again, your insurance increases. There's a lot of things that you have no control over that you got to be over. But I got to say one thing, we worked with the fire department union, and the reason we are able to keep them at a balance is because they took what they call two-tier. And so when a 30-year fireman goes and we got a 1-year fireman, there's a big difference in the pay scale. So that's one way we're able to save it. Number two, what we did was, on the insurance part, we started getting I know we got a lot of our employees on the union insurance because they're cheaper. IACT insurance is like $2,700 a month. The insurance that we moved them to on the local level, as far as the union insurance, is only like $1,400 a month. So we got a great savings from there, and that's what a lot of it we're using. And we'll be looking at insurances again, because that's where your savings are. You've got to find a way to cut that insurance.
Okay, anybody care to give a rebuttal? Okay, we'll move on. This question came from, was emailed to Gertrude at the Chamber. So this is not mine. According to the 2018 population data, people living outside the city limits of Connersville comprise 44.6% of the county population. Many express feelings they have no voice in decisions made by the city, but are impacted by those decisions because they work here, and visit here, shop here. If you are elected mayor or re-elected mayor, what, if any, plan do you have to include the ideas, suggestions, and/or concerns of county residents in any decision?
Is this me?
Yes.
Okay. What it is, I know that what the city does affects the counties also. But here's the problem. The county only pays one tax, which is the county tax. The city the city residents, they pay two taxes. They pay the county tax along with the city tax. So the reason they can't take part of it is because they're not paying towards it. Now, if they want to be annexed, I have an annexation committee. Would be love to talk to you. Because that's about the only way you can do it. And so that's the only thing you can do. They have to be annexed into the city because you're paying two taxes as a city resident, and the county person is only paying one.
Chad?
Okay, I got the 44% population. What was the end of your question again?
Okay. Many express feelings they have no voice in decisions made by the city, but are impacted by those decisions because they shop here and visit here. If you are elected mayor, what, if any, plan do you have to include the ideas, suggestions, and/or concerns of county residents in city decisions?
Yes. Well, the first thing I want to do is build teams. I love Walt Disney. Walt Disney had what he called Imagineering retreats. That's how he built Walt Disney World. That's how he built the empire that he has. I'm not for an empire, but I want to get everyone involved. If you're a Fayette County resident, I don't care if you're a city or county, you have a voice. Now what I want to do is when we build teams and we have ideas, and I want to build teams, put whiteboards out, and everyone put their ideas on the whiteboards. It's exactly what Walt Disney did. Your county, your city resident, you have ideas, I want to hear it. I want you involved to help us grow. Because if the city grows, the county grows. If the county grows, the city grows. We're all one team. And that's what I want to do. I want to implement strategies so that everyone is building and growing Connersville together.
Okay, any rebuttals? Okay. Chad, there are numerous empty buildings, including some very large buildings in the city. Buildings in some cases are deteriorating and becoming eyesores. What plans would you have, if elected, to either fill those buildings or replace them with something more aesthetically pleasing and/or adding economic opportunities for the community?
Yes. Buildings downtown are very difficult. A lot of the structures are bad. I actually personally have a building downtown I want to buy as an investment, personally. We'll have a business idea. It's the very first business idea that my daughter, who's now in college, I didn't think she was listening to me when I was going through my business plan with her. I'm trying to teach her and educate her. 'Cause most kids don't listen to your parents. We're crazy. But she actually looked at me and said, "Dad, for the first time in my life, you make me want to stay here." And that about brought me to tears, because everyone wants their kids to stay here. We have nothing here for them. And for my daughter to tell me that over a business idea that I had downtown, it about broke me to tears. But that's the model I want to create. I've brought investors downtown. I've brought a lot of people to our town to look at our buildings, do everything to try to get something established here. The first thing we got to do in order to get any business to this town, to develop downtown, is we got to make Connersville livable. If we don't make it livable, they're not coming. That's what every single business told me. Yeah, we'd love to set up shop here, but I don't want to live here. That broke my heart. So we got to implement strategies on making Connersville livable, change our mindset, how we view ourselves. I get sick of reading the newspaper, not the newspaper articles, but the articles that's in the newspaper for other communities on how we're on the bottom of the list again. I think it was mentioned tonight several times. And I'm tired of hearing that. This is my town. I grew up here, and I want to develop it and grow it.
Harold.
Okay, just a few days ago, I had a developer in here, and I had him look at the old heat building, because we just boarded it up the other day because the giant birdhouse, it was getting ready to be a giant birdhouse again. So we had it boarded up, but I had a developer in here, and one of the things is Discover Connersville and the UEA, they're all here to help. And we need, like I said, with the cleaning up the properties, with this new ordinance coming in, I know someone said that, it's probably not a good idea, but I think it is. WTR, Channel 13 was here. They thought it was a good idea. They showed the pictures on, if you watch that segment, it was terrible. We have to be proud of ourselves before we can make somebody proud to come in here. So we're working on that, and like I said, and Chad's right, we got to have people coming in here. We got to have people willing to invest their money. Right now, they don't want to invest it.
Okay, any rebuttals? I don't know why you asked me to do that. Nobody's giving rebuttals. Okay, Harold, if you give your closing statement.
Okay, well, one of the things, again, I would like to thank Fayette County Chamber of Commerce, the News Examiner, Local TV3, Whitewater, the opportunity to speak to you this evening about my goals for Connersville over the next 4 years. I look forward to serving the communities. Some of the things that we have done that probably go unnoticed, nobody will notice, but we replaced all the lights on East 5th Street Bridge to LEDs. We started a paving program. Right now, in our 4 years, we're going to spend over $4 million worth of paving. So when somebody says they're not fixing the streets, yes, we are. But we're doing it where you go to East Side. It used to be everything was just, we'll put a layer here on this street, a layer here on this street. No one ever concentrated on one neighborhood. Go to East Side, look at that neighborhood over there. People that over there got their road paved hadn't been done in 20 years. And again, we purchased new vehicles. We're even moving EMS to a neutralize. They talked about protecting the city. Well, at one time we had EMS at 2 different locations. Now we're moving to 1 location. I need help getting the doors put in. So I'll be asking the council for some money here for long to finish up that building, because they need to be taken care of. And then working with Fayette County, we have done a good job with that. The commissioners and I, we talk. Dale Strong, he sends me nasty notes because I sent him a nasty note about cleaning up one of the properties. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Chad?
Well, first of all, if you would, not an advertisement, but if you would go to my Facebook page, that's the easiest way to find out more about me. I have written several articles for Republican Reporter, and she's published those and sent those out. I've copied those and put them on my Facebook page. And what each article does is explains me, who I am, my leadership style, and what I plan on doing. Now, the last month I'll be putting out some of this. I was going to read, and I decided not to because it's too long and I don't have time. Here's my agenda. Here's things I'm going to make happen, and this is some things I want to do. One of the things with most, it's not a debate, we hear all the hot topics. We don't hear what are you actually going to do. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it on my Facebook page from now until the end of November, for the beginning of November to the election, and so you can see exactly what I plan on doing. And then one of the next big thing I plan on doing is I've already talked with John Paws, and I want to get something established again with TV3, so we're putting out at least monthly newsletters to the community, maybe the paper. I don't know how to do it, but I know one thing, when I do marketing, it's all on Facebook, and we're going to do a lot of marketing in our town and giving everyone updates. What are we doing? Where are we going? Our council, I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat, I want to keep them busy. First thing I'm doing is we're going to set a goal, and we're going to establish goals and say, guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we want to go. I want you to help us get there. Depending on how much time I got. How much time do I have?
2 seconds.
Hey, can I say something still?
Rebuttal.
No. Okay. I'll rebut it. No.
Okay,
No, one of the things.
30? We'll give you 30, each 30.
Okay, well, one of the things when I got elected mayor, one of the things that I found out was the city council was getting their getting their packets on Friday night. Now, when you get your packets on Friday night and your meeting is on Monday, you don't have a lot of time to inform yourself of what's going on. So when I took office, our first meeting, we moved the packets out on Wednesday night. So you got evening. So you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to inquire. I give all the department head, I give all the council members their numbers, because a lot of time I wanted to keep everybody informed as well as I could. And so, because I know how I felt when I get that packet on Friday night and everybody stops.
Okay, Chad?
I'm not gonna remember where I left off.
Your paper.
Yeah. My goal is to set the goals out there so the community sees the goals as well, and so council can see the goals. Council's job is tough. Most of them work a full-time job, and so it's going to be hard. So I want those goals established so they know what's coming up and they can help make those goals possible. And I also want the community to know, because I want to make it very visible, very public, and very open.
Thank you, gentlemen. Been very entertaining.
Thanks, Chad.
So that concludes. While Gertrude's heading to the microphone, for anyone who does not know their polling location, when the early voting is available, you can go to the clerk's office in the Fayette County Government Center, and or if you need to know how to register to vote. So the clerk's office can answer those questions. If you need to call them, that number is 765-825. I've got to get my readers on. 1813. So,
Daryl, thank you. You know, we have about 6 minutes left, and I see that they're still here. So I think it would be of benefit, just for those who maybe do not know who these two incumbents are that are running unopposed. I'd like to invite our clerk treasurer, Rosemary Brown, to the podium just to give a brief statement if she desires to do that for 90 seconds. And then following her, Dave Nutty, who's the incumbent for District 5, if he would be willing to come up, 90 seconds for each of you.
As Rosemary comes up, introduce myself. I'm David Nutty, lifelong resident of Connorsville, as you know. Most people know me. My wife, Ruth, and I have been married 32 years, and I am retired from Connors Utilities after 40 years. Started low man on the totem pole, moved all the way up to the director of the utilities. Learned a lot about budgets, learned a lot about operating a multi-million-dollar utility, which is actually 3 utilities: water, sewer, wastewater, water, sewer, and stormwater. I'll bring all those things to the council like I have in the last 4 years. Appreciate your confidence in me. What we were talking about earlier is the importance of our departments, and most people agree that the emergency departments are high priority. But you also have to remember that in order for the police and the EMS to get to the location, they have to have the snow off the streets and the storm debris out of there. And in order to fight fires, you have to have utilities to bring them water. So yes, everybody has EMS on their mind, but there is also times when you just have to focus on one department over another. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Brown. I'm actually a Rish, youngest of 10 of the Rishes out on Waterloo Road. I've been married to my husband Mark for 23 years. We have 2 kids, a junior at Butler and my son is a junior out at the high school. I have learned a lot about budgets in the last 3.5 years, and It is very difficult to understand everything that goes into that. I'm very fortunate that I have the DLGF rep there at City Hall with us now, and to help me if I have questions. We have a listserv that has help out there if you have questions. And you also have the courthouse, county officials if you have questions. So there's always someone to ask. And then you also have the State Board of Accounts and other DLGF representatives as well. We are required to go to classes, State Board called classes, and that's the best way to learn. I don't have anything else, I guess.
Rosemary, can I get some money?
No.
I've heard that a lot.
Either of you have a rebuttal?
Thank you to each one of our candidates who participated today. You really don't understand sometimes all it takes to run a local government, a county, a city government, until you actually step out of your comfort zone and get involved. So we certainly applaud each one of you who are currently serving, and for each of you who said, you know what, I want to help make our community a great place to live, and you're putting yourself out there for the first time. So thank you. Yes, Rosemary.
One thing, Daryl has been mentioning everybody call the clerk's office for questions. Just clarify, call the county clerk's office for voting registration.
For our TV listening audience, you may not have understood the clarification that Rosemary Brown provided. Our moderator, Daryl Smith, stated that if you're wanting information about the election and early voting, call the clerk's office, but not the city clerk's office. You're going to want to call the Lisa Witt office, which is the Fayette County Clerk of Court's office, again, for Fayette County. So it's online, and you can look that phone number up. So again, thanks for that clarification. But thank you to our candidates, and thank you to our audience who came today to listen, to educate yourself, to know how to best vote for November 5th. And to our listening audience who's watching either live or on a replay, thank you for tuning in. Candidates will have information that, whether it's handouts or their platforms, available on the back table. Thank you to the Connersville News Examiner. There are some drinks available in the back, water that is. And have a wonderful evening. We are adjourned.